Hey guys, Chuck Barone here on this casual Friday, June 24th, 2022. And what a day it was. Wow, there's so much to talk about today. A lot of very, very big things going on, not only in the markets, but in the world. Before we start the show today, I want to, of course, say thank you to everybody being here and supporting the show, supporting the channel, supporting our efforts here. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it. You guys have just been an amazing group, and I really want to thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. You guys who are here from Greg, all of you guys, so many of you, Greg talks about being good to each other and being charitable. Well, there's a lot of ways to be charitable. You can give your money, you can give your time, you can give your advice. You guys have been charitable of opinion, because you guys have just the comments and the way you guys have responded to the show. And I know you're giving me the benefit of the doubt here, because let's face it, the show's new and we're trying to make it better for you guys every day. But really, the outpouring of support has been amazing, and I want to thank you guys again for that. Okay, moving on today to the markets. So interesting day in the markets today. Stock market had a strong rally. Dow Jones ending up over 800 points. Dow Jones, or the stock market, breaking a losing streak. They had been down 11 of the past 12 weeks. Coming up strong today, big rally. I was trying to find out what's inspiring this rally, and I guess the consensus is that the traders in the market are kind of have digested these rate hikes and have no fear of them. It's interesting to me, because I also was reading that the consumer sentiment right now is at a 50-year low. So something doesn't jive, but we'll see how this market plays out over the long haul. But in the short run, for this week, a great week for stocks. The debt market, 10-year back down to 3.12, losing 5 basis points. Even though that's kind of more realistic of where rates should be, it's still a pretty insignificant move in my opinion. Metals basically were flat today. The dollar essentially flat, losing fractionally. So the markets this week closed decently. Everybody had a pretty good week this week. Bitcoin closed above 21,000, so they're moving further and further away from that $20,000 or that $20,000 support line. I think the stock market is looking at resistance coming at 660, so we'll see if they have any strength to pass through that resistance line. So next week will be an interesting week for us in the markets. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about this diesel fuel thing that we talked about at the end of the show yesterday. You guys responded overwhelmingly, and I feel like I'm kind of up to speed on this thing now. So let me pass it along to everybody who is not aware or hasn't been reading the comments section. Apparently there's this diesel exhaust fuel, DEF, that diesels need to be, I guess there's a separate tank for it, but they use it to minimize exhaust from diesel engines. And diesels can't run without this stuff. And apparently there's a shortage of it already. They can't find it, and if they can, it's in short supply. Prices are going up on it. And apparently there's only a very small amount left, and they don't anticipate getting new stock. So we're going to be looking at some serious issues if this all comes to pass. It's going to be the mother of all disruptions. They're talking about the supply chain now with difficulties, container ships out the ports and everything else. Just imagine if we lost as little as 10% of our trucking capacity. It would be catastrophic. Prices on, everything in this country gets shipped. They set their distribution centers up and they ship it from there. And guess what, man? If that goes kablooey, we're all in deep doo-doo, man. I never really was one of these, prepper guys, but it might not be a bad idea to stock up on some stuff, non-perishable items. Stuff that you can keep in your pantry for the long haul, just in case this thing gets as bad as it looks like it could get. We want to try to prepare ourselves as best we can for any eventuality. And maybe if you have a little bit of extra money, stocking up on some essentials and some non-perishable stuff for your pantry is a good idea. It looks like that's going to cause way more upside pressure on prices. I think even the rumor of it's going to start prices moving. It's going to be gigantic inflationary pressure. And if it actually comes to pass where we lose trucking capacity, the inflation numbers might not even be readable. Prices will double, triple, depending on what it is. It could really be catastrophic for the economy. So we'll see where it goes. Let's just say it's not looking great, right? In other news today, interesting, I was reading and I found this LIBOR report on their projections or their forecast for interest rates coming up for the rest of this year, next, and all the way through 2025. No reason to project out as far as they are 2025, but they're projecting that by the end of the year, mortgage rates in the U.S. will be 7.95%. 7.95%. Now, here in Las Vegas, interest rates at 6% have literally shut the market down. Housing sales are not just slowing, they're hitting the skids. I mean, they're slamming on the brakes. It's the fastest transition I've ever seen in more than 25 years in the business of seller's market to buyer's market. If you could call it a buyer's market, because buyers don't want to buy or can't buy with rates and prices where they are. So prices are going to come down. I did a quick calculation, and if rates do get to 7.95%, on a $350,000 house, you'd still be looking, or on a $350,000 house, you'd be looking at a payment of around $2,500. You think that's an acceptable payment for most people? I'm not sure. If that payment is what gets to be the norm, that means real estate here, and actually I think that payment is calculated in a $300,000 purchase. So we're looking at real estate in Las Vegas coming down a third, from around $450,000 median price to between $300,000 and $350,000 median price. And that's just to make it affordable for people financing houses, which is the vast majority of the market. It's going to make 2008 look very familiar again. You're going to see a lot of the same situations with people upside down, people looking for forbearances on their mortgages, people walking away from property even though everybody has down payments in the game now. People feel hopeless. And typically your house is a huge vehicle for building wealth, and if you're sitting in a house that has a horrible payment and you're $150,000 upside down in it, what's your incentive to stay? I guess rental prices in Vegas might be one of them, but it looks like we got some big turbulence coming up in the mortgage market, not only in Las Vegas, but here across the country. I mean, everybody's experiencing these prices. Everybody that's in the industry understands there's two buyers. There's the corporate buyers, the Wall Street guys who are paying cash for everything. And then there's the rest of us. Can this market just be the Wall Street guys and these cash buyers? I just don't see how that's going to function. Houses are made for people to live in. I don't know. I just don't know how this turns out yet. But it sure is going to be an interesting ride to watch, and I'll be keeping you guys informed all the way. Next little bit of item in the news today was, as everybody saw, the Supreme Court decision striking down the Roe versus Wade decision from '72. In essence, leaving it to the states now to decide their own abortion laws. I certainly don't want to talk much about Roe v. Wade, just about this decision itself. Over the past 2 days, the Supreme Court has made several decisions that I thought were pretty surprising. I'm surprised that they completely outlawed Roe. I thought they might restrict it. They came out yesterday or the day before his decision on New York State's gun laws and their concealed carry laws, where New York State requires you to show a reason why you need a concealed carry. You carry, you're a jeweler or a banker or someone that carries cash or some reason you have to get a concealed carry in New York. The Supreme Court ruled that that was too restrictive. And then in a very quiet little decision, they ruled that if a person is being arrested and the police officer does not read them their Miranda rights, letting them know they have the right to an attorney or remain silent, that the policeman and the police department can't be sued for that. So in essence, it did away with Miranda, because if there's no penalty, how much enforcement is there going to really be on that? So these are long decided, jurisprudence. These are precedent that's been long. Roe was 72, if I'm not mistaken. Miranda was around 64. New York has always had restrictive gun laws. If these all can be overturned like that, I think that really opens up a Pandora's box now of what's next. Now, anybody that's been listening to this show for the short time it's been on knows that I really feel like the corporations, the big corporations, run everything in this country. They have all the money and they decide pretty much how the government works, they're writing the laws, let's face it, for their own benefit. And I think now with this Supreme Court and the way that they're dealing with precedent and established law, I think that the corporations are going to head down there with their wish list. So I think you're going to see everything from environmental law, labor law, unions, banking, everything now, antitrust. I mean, wouldn't that be a nice one for the corporation to get rid of? They're not really enforcing it anyway, but if they could do away with some of these antitrust laws, that certainly works to their benefit. I think that we have the final capitulation of the government to corporate interests. I think that now even the Supreme Court's going to be, whether it is or not, is going to be viewed as part of the politics in this country. And I just don't know how well it bodes for us, the common guy, Joe Sixpack. An amazing, amazing turn of events over this week. I think that the ripple effect, they drop the pebble in the pond and the ripples ripple out and out. I think the ripples to all of this are going to be just, who knows where it all leads now. It just looks like everything seems to be coming apart at the seams. The government completely dysfunctional, precedent and established law out the window, financial markets gyrating all over the place. There's war, Germany's talking about rationing natural gas over the winter. All kind of terrible things going on. And I'm trying to find the ray of good news here, but I'm not seeing it. So we'll see how all this plays out. I think that next week's stock market's going to be really interesting. I want to see if this rally can continue. I want to see how things play out as the month comes to an end. We're going to start getting some signals on earnings. We're going to get some signals on where GDP, unemployment, and all these next batch of information we're going to need to make our judgments is. I think it's going to be the end of this quarter, and the reports that follow, if they're legit, are going to tell us a lot about where we're going. Anyway, that's it for today. Appreciate you guys being here and taking the time to watch the show. Please comment. Ask questions. I've been trying to get in the comments and answer questions more and more. A lot of the show is built around questions you guys have asked. Share the information with your friends in the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all your guys' support. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see y'all again next week on Monday. So long. Bye-bye.